Hey guys, Lucid, I have a confession to make. I know I said I was going to try to not get behind in this game, in terms of recording, and I have. I'm currently at turn 52, and my recording I've left at turn 13, so we have a lot of catching up to do. I think the way I've been doing my channel is, if I say I'm going to record a game, there's like a 90% chance that I'm going to record it. Unless I get, like, knocked out in, like, turn 20, which hasn't happened. Well, it's happened one time, like, in the past 3 years. But, yeah. That's one thing I think, actually, like, I'm pretty good at. Is, and I've gotten rushed quite a few times. I usually do not lose my first war. Especially if somebody's attacking me. Anyway. I don't win the game terribly often. I probably win it more often than like 1 in 8 or 1 in 12, but I definitely don't win it more than 50%, I don't think. But I don't lose my first war very often. Okay, so, but anyway, we gotta do a big catch-up spree, so I'm gonna sit down here and probably for the next 5 hours just record a bunch of turns I've already done. And for that reason, I'm gonna go kind of quickly, because, A, I'm not gonna have quite as much context on like what I was thinking in each of these turns, because it's farther in the past. But B, that'll also help me get through these episodes a bit quicker. So, a message from Kalen. This time I got a bunch of free undead instead of them attacking me. Yay, story. You know, I forgot what I sent them. We'd have to go back and... I don't know what that was from. And then a message from Roos. So this is another story in the saga of Bobo. And maybe I'll read this one. I haven't been reading them. But, so Bobo's still in hibernation, which means Oleg and Bebe need to drag Bobo around as he sleep. Normally this is not a problem, as Oleg have strength of bear, but Oleg even have difficulty dragging fat Bobo around for the whole month. So Oleg and Bebe devise a plan. Oleg encounters tribe peoples with the concept of wheels. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this, but it's kind of funny. The idea of a Russian bear. That's funny. It is kind of... I mean, if you think about it, you look at Roos, and if you think about, you know, like what kind of mythology and culture would actually exist around these people, where they have, you know, people who change into bears and stuff. It kind of makes me think of Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones, where he's like making jokes about sleeping with killing a bear and sleeping with the bear's spouse or something. I don't even remember, but funny stuff. Okay, on with the turn. Yeah, we don't have too much going on because basically we're preparing for this war with Calum. I think I want to take this throne first though. And we need to finish expansion. I still have not expanded very far down here, and I basically have kind of heard it from Lanka. He's going to give me these two. I've been not wanting to expand here because this has elephants, and elephants are scary, and then horse tribe are also scary. So, if you go with like a meme bless, elephants are always usually going to be, like, 6 elephants can hurt most nations' expanders. Like, there's very few things that like fighting into elephants. I mean, if you have enough archers, you can handle. But... horse tribe are also pretty nasty, but if you have like a good meme bless, horse tribe don't really matter. But if you're expanding with human troops, horse tribe are motherfuckers. So, yeah. Let's see, we're gonna run in here. Let's take a look at our infrastructure. We've got a Palisades coming up a month, which means we're building our lab. We already have a temple. Now, building a temple is a good indicator that we're building a fort, so potentially we could get raided here. So anyway, it is a risk. Yeah, I didn't really script these guys. And we're gonna ping this. I want to see what mages are in here. So we're gonna do that. Take these elephants out. The elephants, basically we have fire on large monster, so hopefully they're gonna javelin the elephants to death and we don't have to engage them in melee too much. We switched our recruitment. Rather than shitting out peltasts, we're getting our Gigante hoplites. Now, one thing I don't think I fully appreciated was that you can get 4 of these and 4 of these, so you can get 8 total, which I think is good. Yeah. We don't really have huge swarms of troops yet, which we certainly will be getting as we gear up for war. Fighting Calum, if I significantly outnumber him, it's very hard for birds to fight you in the open field if you have a numbers advantage. And you don't want to really be in a raiding war with Calum, so we're going to, probably once this palisade gets up, we'll go to war. But I'm probably not going to go to war before that. But once we get this palisade up and maybe shit out a few rounds of recruitment of troops from that fort, then we'll probably swing in. So, I think that's it. Research, we're heading up conjuration, basically. That's going to give us things like earth power. Then we'll go construction for thug items, and then enchantment for strength of giants and stuff like that. So there we go. What is this? Turn 13, so let's go to turn 14. And here we go. Turn 14, a message from Ulm. The utopists are further reproached with their desire to abolish countries and nationality. The working men have no country. We cannot take from them what they have not got. Since the people must first of all acquire political supremacy, we must be the leading class of the nation. Must constitute itself the nation. It is so far itself national, though no pretender, though not in the pretender sense of the word. It's kind of hilarious. So this is the socialist Ulm. Now one thing I didn't know, but I found out later, because Ulm actually is going to get, I forget who they get embroiled in a conflict with, but I think they mostly lose. Ulm is, I think, down here. I think they're like right around, maybe they haven't lost, I can't remember. I think they do, at like real time in the game, which is a little bit of a surprise. I'm kind of revealing it early because, they're not really going to become part of my game. But it is funny because apparently the two actual players had some ideological differences, and that, you know, Ulm is sending off basically socialist propaganda. And apparently the person that they end up in a fight with, and I could be wrong about this, was like very much not into it. So I do think that's actually kind of funny. I can't remember. I know in one of the episodes too, I was actually like, okay, Ulm's been sending all this out. I'm actually going to dive into it. I probably need to go back and see if he does, because if he hasn't, or if I haven't actually gotten into it, then I might coming up. I hope my army on our border didn't startle you. I understand you feeling the need to protect your palisade, so I never intended to attack it. Just clearing out the last of the tough indies. If you do have something better to do, I'd be happy to agree to a nap 3. Okay. So I'm probably going to agree to that. Rushing Marverni is actually a pretty good idea. But honestly, I would rather rush Calum. Because, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm more worried about fighting a large Fog Warrior Bird Thunderstrike army than I am fighting boars. Like the boars, I have size 4 dudes, so the boars, like my Gigantes aren't going to get trampled. I mean, they're going to be, you know, maybe in a little bit more jeopardy when dealing with those communions, but honestly, I have things to deal with that too. Like, I can kind of earthquake them to death if I doom stack up. Anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with an nap 3. Probably need to deal with Lanka or Calum before they get crazy. But it's also true that I need to deal with Marverni before Marverni gets crazy. A message from Machaka. Greetings, Giants of Mekone. Let's enjoy a peaceful relationship for many moons to come with the signing of a nap 3. Good luck against the birds and the monkeys. So he and I had some Discord discussion, and this is just a message confirming basically that we are indeed going to nap. A message has arrived from Roos. I'll let you guys read this if you want to. You can pause it. And then we have down here, let's see. So we're pinging this throne, and I tell you, it looks scarier on the strategic map when you see that big pile of troops, but here it doesn't look that bad. I've got some disease. I wonder... oh, actually, I remember now. There's a... You know, it's funny because you can tell, actually, there's a death site here. There's a well of misery or something, just from how the troops are diseased. It could also be from people starving, but we don't see any evidence of them starving, so... we've got sages and lore masters here, which I would give my right arm to be able to recruit them in this game. Because it's one of the things Mekone does not have is any access, really, to sorcery. Not much access to sorcery. Maybe none. I think we get a little bit. Let's check. I haven't really been getting these guys. Yeah, no. We get none. We get Basilia. The Basilius are our only reliable water access, and they can get up to water too, but these guys can get water on random. But yeah, we have no sorcery, so. And then we have a battle here where we're attacking the elephants, and everybody's basically on fire closest, with some Gigantes in the middle. And I'm not sure this script was ideal, because if our leaders get trampled, we're kind of fooked. Might have been good to let them kind of trample into our normal troops. But we're probably about to kill enough where they're gonna rout. How low is this guy? 29, he's okay. Okay, the elephants are done. And that's the scary part of this anyway. But I think we lost a fair amount, and then our polemarch's running in back to the slingers. And the army now rallies behind him. This is a cool nation thematically. Like, I do like the idea of these kind of Greek giants among mortals. It does kind of make you think of, like, the battles of Troy and things like that. But you can see we lose 2 of our Gigante hoplites, which honestly, you know, this could have been my polemarch. So that was definitely a slight mess up in terms of scripting. But we took only 20 losses in our normal troops, which is fine. We have some events. An earthquake is hit. We got some free PD. And then the troglodytes attack us because, you know, fuck me. And this is Horse Tribe, which normally is good at defending against stuff, but not against troglodytes. This troglodyte event is a big deal. So, here's where they attacked me. At some point, Tis is going to be like, hey, are you going to take this troglodyte province back? If not, I'll take it. Because you don't casually walk into 26 troglodytes. You need, like, legit planning, mage support. 26 troglodytes is a scary freaking army. Especially if you want to take it without, like, devastating losses. I mean, even if they don't trample you, which you definitely don't want them trampling you, they're tanky, they have decent protection, they have a 12 attack, 23 damage attack. They hurt. They're just... they hurt. And I think that's it for this turn. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Because we're kind of just waiting for our first war. I've got to get some infrastructure up. Message from Roos. A strange thing happened to Bobo and friend while walking in the forest. No cloud in the sky. Forest nice and quiet. And suddenly Rockfallen hit Bobo on the head. There you go. Y'all can pause it or go back and pause it if you want to finish reading. Some events. We got 200 gold. We got plus 20 permanent income. It's honestly one of my favorite parts of luck is getting permanent income events. It doesn't... I mean, it really matters over the course of a game. Okay, we're pretty close. We're 1 month away from having the palisade up here. This palisade finished, and we're now able to make E4s. Now, What we want is we want to have at least one E-fort, which are the better of your mages, better in air quotes, in each palisade so that we don't get the unrest event. That will happen in, I believe, the fall, so coming up. And then we get an assassin. One thing I actually need to think about in like real time in the game, which is many turns away from now, is how I'm going to kit all my assassins. Because over time, if you have forts for a long period of time, you end up getting kind of a fair number. Like it's significant. So then you need to think about, okay, if somebody attacks me, I've got like 4 or 5 assassins sitting around after year 4 or 5. And, you know, what are you gonna what are you gonna put on them to assassinate people? So hopefully, I don't know, I gotta figure it out. Some of the best assassin items are blood, but they have pretty good stats. Like if we look at them, 12 attack, 12 defense, 28 HP, decent morale, 20 strength. They could be pretty damn good. I mean, it could honestly be a lot of things. Like, Lycanthrope Amulet would be really good on these guys, because they just go berserk. And then, like, a Cathartic Lion Pelt, or whatever it's called. Give them some decent protection. So that's like 15 gems worth of stuff. And then maybe just like a Frostbrand. And that would kill a lot of things. Especially if you threw on like a Vine Shield, but then it gets kind of expensive. I'm not sure. I think it would depend on what you're doing. But honestly, if you had blood, you could also do lifelong protection, and then it gets really crazy. Did we finish our... Yeah, we finished the events. Outgoing diplomacy, we don't have any. But you can see I've switched over. We had basically a turn, I think, of Peltasts shitting out, so we've got a ton of Peltasts. We're going to be consolidating this army here before we march them over here to fight these Horse Tribe. And then we'll have to probably consolidate another army to come over here and deal with the Troglodytes, and to kill this. So, anyway, the Palisades is coming up. We're going to basically deal with this, and once we have this dealt with, and maybe that, I don't think we're going to wait for this, then we're going to go ahead and attack Calum. Okay, then we got some Long Dead. Nice. We can see Lanka down here, and I think we're going to continue forward. So I think we're on to turn 16. So we're kind of covering a lot, but there's not much happening. Covering a lot of turns, but a message from Ulm. So we will read this. And thus were in the last words of our great prophet Karl. That's Karl Marx, for those of you who aren't on this wavelength. Finally they labor everywhere for the union and agreement of the democratic parties of all countries. The utopias disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling class tremble at the utopian revolution. The people have nothing to lose but their chains. They have the world to win. Working women and men of all countries unite. After Karl's death, his faithful companion, so I guess his prophet died, named Karl, which actually is kind of funny if that's what this is. The shaman Frederick, I'm not sure who Frederick is, but I'm sure he's like a Marxist, said with his own dying breath, our struggle reached a point where the exploited and oppressed class can no longer free itself from the exploiting and oppressing class, without at the same time to free Black Swan itself forever from exploitation and class struggles. This fundamental thought belongs only and alone to Karl. Okay. So, kind of funny. So those of you who came for Dominions, you're getting to stay for the socialist propaganda. Hello from Pangea Northwest across Satis from you. I got into a 2v1 war with the Lizards, backed by Niflheim. But he seems to have bailed on account of losses. Not only being... not being one to enjoy war unless they're one-sided, And seeing you board assist, I was wondering if I could entice you to join. That's actually kind of funny. Not being able to enjoy wars unless they're one-sided. And seeing as you border Satis, I'm wondering if I could entice you to join the invasion. Not much chance for bumps. We could both get some land out of it. Food for thought. So Pangea wants me to jump in versus Satis. I think I say this to people in games, but they don't necessarily agree with me. Or they think I'm, like, being deceptive sometimes. But honestly, I play so hard by threat prioritization. And just early age Satis is not very high in terms of threat priority. And in fact, like, this is the exact time of the game where I don't really want to fight them. So, like, Satis, like, I don't want to fight these guys. First of all, the water randoms can do foul vapors. They're going to have a shit ton of Skelly spam. Any Satis worth his salt is going to have Skelly spam up. Like, I do not want to throw human troops into Skelly spam with foul vapors. That would just be the worst move I could possibly make. So, like, first of all, it's not a good matchup for me. Second of all, it doesn't... I don't want to say Satis doesn't scale well, but they don't scale phenomenally. They're weak if you rush them very early before they get to Enchantment 5. And early age Satis is not as strong at that point as middle age Satis. But arguably they get better Skelly spam with the Sarumancers. And then they've got Reborn too, who can Skelly spam. And then they have Shamans for nature magic. Temple Trainer, I guess these guys get Sacred Serpents or something. So that's actually a cool new addition to the patch, as you can actually see this. But anyway, yeah, I have no idea. I guess I don't respond to them. I probably should have. Maybe I do in Discord. It's kind of rude if I don't respond, but anyway. This has no interest to me because I don't consider Satis to be like a late game threat that if we don't deal with them now, we're in trouble. And they're like at the top, like they're peaking out. I mean, they're at like a very strong point for their nation, most likely. Like they'll probably continue to get a little stronger over the next 20 turns, but like that's like a reason not to fight them. Whereas somebody like Marverni, who's going to peak out like much later, like late mid-game, they're the scariest once they have key research and then infinite boars. Like that's scary. Lanka's way scarier. And Kalem, the thing is, like Lanka is not scary right now, but they're scarier later. And then Kalem gets scary very, very quickly. I think it's pretty important to play with a fair amount of respect for a Kalem. Because if they, you know, we've talked about it, but if they get Fog Warriors, you're kind of screwed. So anyway, that's not appealing to me at all. I found a magic site, a Grove of Fertility. I think that's 1 nature gem, and then an Earthblood Seepage. That's 2 earth, so that's pretty nice. Events, got some additional income. Nice. In terms of production, we're getting hoplites. I probably should be getting these guys. I'm not sure why I'm getting them. Are small dudes, but anyway. We're crapping out peltasts here. And we're finally moving this force in to fight the horse tribe. Basically, we've got a squad... Whoops. We've got our 2 commanders with Gigante bodyguards, and they're going to be attacking with some hoplites in the middle, and then we have basically 2 lines of peltasts. And I don't really have terribly useful spells for my polemark to cast. If I were smart too, I probably would have put more people on the polemark since he has better leadership. You can see they get +2 morale, but this should be okay. I think we're going to have critical mass to kill some of these horse archers before they do too much to us. Here we're getting more hoplites. Here we're getting some peltasts to kind of beef up my numbers here. And I think that is it for this turn. 1 second, let me see if I've got... My little overlay is gone. 1 second. Yeah, so I think we're going to end the episode here. It's turn 16, so I'll see you guys next episode on turn 17.